Hola, todo. Salma, soy Roberto. ¿Prefieres hacer en catalán, castellano, todo el mundo? ¿Bien? ¿Inglés? Inglés. You want to join us?
I want to ask which language you speak? English. You speak English, yes?
Yeah, we can do
Okay,
it.
thank you very much.
Do you want to be So, I was saying that sorry for the delays, the meetup because we started at 5, so I'm really sorry guys. Well, do you know anything about Bitnation? Have you heard before about the project? Can we make a quick pool like anybody? Do you know about Bitnation? Yes. Yeah, you know? You first time? Something?
Yeah.
You Luis, know law, Okay, and you guys? Have you heard something about Bitnation? Yeah? Well, so I'll try to make like a little explanation, a little introduction of the project, and then we can start like talking more about the roadmap and the future releases that will come in the first quarter of 2019. So I'm Manel Ruiz, ambassador in Spain, in Catalonia area of Bitnation, and well, I'm here to explain about Bitnation as a platform, but as well what we have the platform Bitnation, but our product, the product we are releasing is Pangea, which is an app that you can download in your smartphones. And what we want to provide is it's a jurisdiction, a digital jurisdiction that gives governance services in the blockchain and that uses smart contracts instead of like bureaucracies instead of the bureaucracy of the national state. So let's start. Well, the basic reason why we choose to start doing application is obviously because nowadays we think that a lot of engagement, business engagements is starting to be done by chats, no? Instead of like the normal business that happens hand to hand in like typical business models. And well, basically, Bitnation it's trying to provide governance services to everyone in the world, but we are especially interested in people from third world countries that live in really hard situations and with governments that have a high level of corruption, no? And the people that really need them. And in those cases, we sometimes meet people that don't have access to any financial or government services, you know, like we have Visa, MasterCard, and everything, and there's a lot of people that don't have those services, but they do have a smartphone. So we think that that's the way to get into these people, no? Instead of doing it like a desktop application, we want to do it through an mobile application. And well, as you see, there are 2 billion unbanked adults, and we can say that if all those people will get into an economy, will be like people that are said to be like the great economy of the world, they will become like the second or the third first world economy. All these people put in a country, if we could put them inside the country. Of course, we are very aware that for a lot of people, this idea of having instead of a government that provides you the services of your governance needed, and that for a lot of people, especially older people, it seems very weird. So right now we know that the people that will probably adopt our technology is people with a high level of of technological knowledge. And basically, for example, in Bitnation, the biggest nations that we are creating are in Brazil. It's the biggest one. Well, probably because our founder, Ivan Markowski Tempelhof, lived there for a long while. So we don't really know if it's because of her connections there, but Brazil is our biggest community right now. So, what does like the Pangea, this Pangea application that is related to Bitnation? It gives you the tools to create digital jurisdictions that work completely apart from the nation states. So it's like you can download it, you can see it by yourself. You can make your own virtual nation. You can choose if you want it to be a democracy, any kind of law enforcement, logo, everything. And what we want is to have like a big number of nations that compete for citizens, instead of having citizens competing between them and struggling to have to force themselves to adapt to the necessities of the government. We want the nations, the virtual nations, to have to compete to get citizens. So we are opening a market that until now has been a monopoly from the nation states, which is the market of the government services. And basically our main functions, as Pangea starts to get more and more developed, it's to create a joint virtual nation and community, of course, but then inside these virtual nations there is a chat. For example, the nation that we are creating for here in Catalonia, for the Catalan Republic, in which the users, the citizens, have a chat in which they have the possibility of doing commerce between them in a completely peer-to-peer way, without any intermediary or any being completely censorship resistant to any third party or any middleman. And also, we are going to provide a market of arbitration services, no? Like saying, like for a nation state. For a nation state, for a nation state, one of the biggest issues, no, is dispute resolution. No? It's one of the big things. No? Why we can say that we need nation states. No? What we want to provide is a market of arbitrators, and what they do is that they have to compete to be like the person that, in a way we could say that when there is some contract or some agreement in the chat, if there is a dispute, both parties can go to the arbitrator that they have chosen before. So if I do a business with you and we do the smart contract, we're going to agree in our arbitrator. No? So we are going to say, okay, if there is any dispute, something that we are not agreeing, this person is going to decide who has done its part correctly, like who has behaved honestly in the contract. No? So, in a way, we want to force people to have to be honest, no? Because if you do a contract, something to someone, you say that, for example, a car, you say that it's working very well, and you choose an arbitrator that is specialized in car mechanics. If you sell the car, that money gets into an escrow, and you know that the car is not working, so we are trying to treat the other part of the contract. Sooner or later, this money is going to be in the escrow until the arbitrator decides waits until there is a dispute or any disagreement with the smart contract. So we want to give, in a way, a very cheap way to resolve disputes instead of having to go to courts and lawyers and stuff that costs a lot of money and time. Yeah, one way to, as you can see, the Pangea reputation system, it's a way to do incentives for people to behave honestly in the platform. So we have different tokens that give reputation to the users of the platform. And we have the XPAT token, which is the main token of Pangea. And that can be used for many functions of the platform. But then we have non-tradable tokens that are the proof of nomic that is used to, for example, I'm a citizen of different nations and I say if I like the services of this nation. So this nation gets a good reputation. So every time that someone has to choose his new nation, the nation that he wants to become or not, he can see the number of the reputation that the citizen has given to them. So they have to really, it's not that easy as nowadays, that because the governments don't have any competence, they don't have any competition with anybody, they don't really need to work hard to give good services at a good price. In this case, virtual nations will have to compete to get a better number of proof of nomic tokens, so the users can see that they are a good virtual nation. And then we have proof of nomic, proof of collective, it's another one. And the Pangea reputation system, what it does is that, for example, what we were saying before, the arbitrator markets, in which this arbitrator has to dispute and resolve any dispute between citizens. If he can do it properly, if he can do that both parts are happy with the agreement that they have done, being a business agreement or a sale or whatever, the Pangea reputation system will give him some XPAT tokens that are tradable tokens. So this arbitrator will get paid for his job. Also, all this reputation system, it's in a very early stage right now because we want to support it with an AI, which is something that it takes time to prepare. But because we don't want it to become like a Facebook contest, where people that are famous or people that are popular can get better reputation or not. We want the AI to be the one that's completely neutral to do this job, to make sure that we don't end up in some sort of championship of population, popularity. You see, transaction goes to US dollars, it's more or less very oriented, it's not the exact number. This is how a smart contract in Pangea will work. As you can see, you can choose also, apart from the arbitrator, you can choose witnesses in case you want to make really sure that there is more people seeing this content that is happening between those parts. The escrow, everybody knows what is an escrow. An escrow escrow is like a deposit. It's like instead of paying you directly, what I do is that I put the money in an escrow that gets like frozen. We can say that it gets frozen. For example, we can agree it gets frozen for 20 days or 30 days, and in those 20-30 days, both parts haven't claimed any dispute or whatever to the arbitrator. Then this money in the escrow gets automatically in your wallet. So from my wallet, I want to pay you. It gets 2 days in this escrow, so I have 20 days to see if the car that I have bought to you it's working or not. And if it's not, I have to go to the arbitrator and tell him, hey, wait, there's something wrong here. So the arbitrator can freeze that money and we both parts agree. That also gives us we are talking in a very local way, but we can do it as well to do international commerce. No? Imagine that those virtual nations don't need to be in a geographic relationship. There is a Bitnation virtual nation that's called Artists of the World, and it's done for people that are even painters, musicians, wherever, and that are in the music industry, and they want to get paid directly from the producer or from the person that prepared the concert, and without having to know each other, they can do an agreement through the Pangea lab. No? So we don't really need. The thing is that it's a way to make commerce, local and international commerce, without having to know each other, So we can collaborate with people that we don't really know, because we know that we are going to get the part that we need. For example, we can also use it to make collaborations. If you want your website you want to translate it to Brazilian, and you want someone from Brazil to do it, you can hire someone from Brazil and make sure that he's going to do the work properly. You know what I mean? Because if you can ask him, okay, I want the translation of my website to Brazilian, and if he doesn't do the work properly, the money will be in an escrow. You will choose an arbitrator that will be specialized in translations, and he will say it's okay or not. So it's a way to make international commerce, but as well as a way to do international collaborations without borders and without intermediaries and without any sort of institution that decides if you can do it or not. This is a bit like the way the Pangea wallet will look in the near future. We are working hard on it. As you see, there is you can download it in your smartphone, but there is there are nations, and you can choose different nations. So you can be part. For example, in the case of Catalonia, right now I think there are 3 nations. There is Catalonia, República Catalana, and 2 Catalonias. So you can be part of the 3 nations if you want, and in the future you will be able to choose services from each one to make your own menu of government services. And that's the idea. The idea is that in this case of Catalonia, for example, that it's a virtual nation that is related to a geographical area. These nations will have to compete within them to give better government services that fit the necessities of the citizens of Catalonia. Also, Pangea tries to be like in all these cryptocurrencies and blockchain revolution, as you want to call it. We want to be a bit like the framework. Something that I really like of Pangea and Bitnation is that we call ourselves we say that we are blockchain agnostic. because right now we are working on Ethereum, but we are able to migrate to EOS and Hashgraph and Tezos, or even maybe IOTA in the future. So that's something I really like. It's something that makes really a difference. I think that we can adapt ourselves to different, and even in the future we want our users to be able to choose in which blockchain or let's say directed like cyclic graph or distributed ledger technology, they want their contracts and their stuff to be signed and to be recorded. And there are examples of third-party applications because right now we have published our API. Developers can already put their applications on the Pangea app, and it's like smart law, for example, to do marriage registration in blockchain. Land titles that is being already used in some countries of Africa, especially in Ethiopia. We are doing a project with some farmers in Ethiopia that have a big problem with their government, or that the government has a very corrupt register of the land, so they can say, yeah, today your land is this size, and then in 2 days they just cut it and they say that because they are the only ones that have it registered, they can do whatever they want. In blockchain, as you know, this can be done because every customer or everyone has the copy of what's going on. It can be used as well to record birth certificates. Also, we were working in a while with some people called The Umbrella. That was a very nice project that was trying to do peer-to-peer security, meaning that private security, but peer-to-peer. Business incorporations, meaning that we want to incorporate into this virtualization stuff like Aragon and DAOs and everything. There is people working in a basic income graph to put it inside the museum. Peer-to-peer instruments as well, trade agreements, healthcare. And yeah, as I told you, the reputation is done by our AI, Lucy bot. It's called Lucy. The smart contract and the wallet and everything. Our token is an ERC20 token. So we are right now from the Ethereum ecosystem, let's say. The storage of our data is done with the IDFS protocol to give it a decentralized storage way to make it more secure and more censorship resistant. Okay. And our chat, it's working with the Pangea MS network that allows offline connections. Because as I said, we really want people from third world countries to be able to use Pangea, and we want to arrive to areas where maybe there's people that don't have resources to have an internet connection. Here's a bit our competition, let's say, people that do something similar as us, and you can check them by yourself. CrowdJury, it's pretty cool. Molia, Mediate.com, Bitnation. Yeah, we are working right now, like we finished our SEO in April, by the end of April, and we are working in 3-week releases, of the lab. Every 3 weeks we do an update of the build up and new functions, new stuff is coming up, no? And well, as you know, the open source projects are, they work little by little, no? We have a developers team of like, it's pretty amazing, it's like 10, 12 people, some of them full-time, some of them part-time. But we are currently like providing what we promised from the beginning, no? Like we are already working in the right now, for example, in the last release in last Friday, we did a big upgrade in public notaries. So right now there is an option to register, to do notary registration in Pangea of documents that get registered in the Ethereum blockchain. Next big thing that we will start doing is the hard user rewards, no? Which means that, as I said, we want everybody that use the platform and the app honestly to get rewarded. No? So every time that you do an agreement and you do the part of your smart contract project in an honest way, you will get rewarded with XPAT. And the other part as well. And in case the arbitrator does some work and it's needed, he will get paid as well in XPAT. Also, we are working right now integrating currencies. Here we have our friends from Croat. They are doing a Catalan altcoin. And right now we are working in the possibility of integrating those altcoins and ERC20 tokens especially to the Pangea app. We don't want to force people, you know, to have to use XPAT or Ethereum. You know, we want to be as open as we can. You know, in the future we want the communities inside Pangea to be able to create their own tokens. You know? Like for example, if there is a virtual nation that's done on a local community from some village and they want to have their own token because they want to tokenize whatever, some services like in the village, they can do it by themselves. No? So we are right now working in these currencies and this integration of other cryptocurrencies. No? As you can see, as I said before, that the people will be able to choose if they want their business or their smart contracts and their registrations in Ethereum, in the rootstock, Bitcoin, EOS, hash. We want to be as much open as we can. No? We don't want to force people to have to use our jurisdiction and our crypto. And also, well, something I want you to know is that people can choose at any time. It's the only thing that we ask we force people when they create a virtual nation, that people can opt in and opt out at any time. So if you don't like, you get into a virtual nation and you don't like it anymore for any reason, with pressing one button you can just get out. It's completely open. We don't want to force anybody to have to be in a virtual nation. You know, something that's completely different from the system that we see right now. No? When you are born in a country and that country says that you belong to each country, this country. No? We don't want this at all. We want something completely opposite, to be as much open as possible. So that's why we also integrate other currencies. These are the last releases. Let's say 3 weeks sprints. This is a bit like in which money we have been working, no? Doing with the money that we are in the ICO. Well, this is a diagram that we saw a few years ago, talking about that. Here. Yeah. 2015 Bitnation won a city prize related to UNESCO it's called the Net Expo Award because we did a system for refugees to get an ID on the blockchain. So to make how do you say it in English, when they come back to the country or they get out of the country that they are just escaping, there's always a problem with the family relocation, no? And with this stuff, we try to help them, giving them an ID on the blockchain to make sure that they can have identification and make it easier to track all the members of their family or their community. No? So yeah, we are really happy for this award. It's an award that the years before has been the winners of the earlier editions were Twitter, Slack, I think Twitter, Slack, and probably WeChat as well. So we are really proud of it. Right now we have around, I think a bit more already, 10,000, 20,000 citizens. We have 54 ambassadors like me that are everywhere in the world, like in a lot of countries doing meetups, explaining our project. And this is the diagram of Bitnation. As you can see right now, the view is very centralized in Susanna because she was the one that is our CEO, and that's something that we don't really want because all this wave of decentralization, what brings us is to a more flat model, no? And we are currently working in a sort of different distribution, no? Susanna wants to be less and less important, so we are working in a sort of holacracy in which there are different areas that we are the ambassadors, the dev team and everybody, the legal team, have the marketing, each one they have their own multi-signature wallet, each one have their own possibility of doing their own decisions, and they have their own money. No? These are our developers team. Some of them are working more full-time, some of them not that full-time. But I think it's a very amazing team. We have Johan Nygren as well, which is a guy that is working right now in the proof of individuality, and in this proof of humanity, something that's very important for us. If we want to create these, let's say, virtual nations, we need people to be able to do, for example, create a voting system in which we can make sure that they are humans, that they are not a bot that has done a fake account and that some malicious person is trying to, with a dishonest attitude, is trying to do some sort of breaking the elections or whatever inside the virtual nation. If there is some decision making, we really need to have the way in which people do proof of humanity, first of all, to make sure that they are humans, and proof of individuality, that one person can vote one time. So Johan Nygren is the guy who's working in this way. And we don't want to use biometrics because we think that maybe to put biometrics in the blockchain could be a bit dangerous in the future, like to have lists of people of different ethnies or different ideas or different. We don't want it this information to be public. So we are trying to find a way to make all this sort of pseudo individuality in which people can interact with the governance services but without having to say their name, you know, being able to interact with their virtual government but without the need of providing who they are and giving their ID card. No? So we're working with that. More or less is our Barcelona networks. Probably in Asia is the area that we have less people working with us. This is the use of the token, the distribution that we are going to do. As you can see, we consider marketing important, but our main business is to provide to deliver a very high quality product, no, in terms of technology, no? Which is not easy. Remember that we are talking about creating digital jurisdictions on different blockchains and distributed ledgers technologies that are supported with a chat that has an AI that helps people without any knowledge in technology to do smart contracts. So the AI, apart from the reputation, what it does is that it reads if you are doing an agreement with your friend, if you are talking in a very informal way or whatever, about or someone doing some sort of agreement, even if it's a local, international agreement. The AI reads these messages, and the idea is that it turns these messages in a smart contract. So people that without any knowledge in programming can do smart contracts, even without knowing that they are doing a smart contract. I think right now there is also one blockchain is doing this. It's called Agrelo. It's from people from Estonia as well, that they try to help people that doesn't know how to do smart contracts, to do them through an AI, artificial intelligence. And this is a bit like the places in which we have appeared, which, as you can see, we have been pretty big media platforms. So, okay. And this is the prize that we won, as I told you. You see, the previous winners include Twitter, Shazam, Slack, Spotify, Siri. So we are really glad that we won this prize, because it means that we have to work hard, but we say the future pretty bright, no? Pretty bright future. And now, if you want, we can start with if you have some questions or something that you want to, I would like to make some QA. We have like maybe 20 minutes if you have some questions or preguntas, whatever.
So how did the arbitrators gain reputation? Could you not let your reputation by just stand different contracts?
Yeah. What do you mean? How the arbitrator, or how we prevent the arbitrator to be doing some malicious, to earn more reputation? Well, the thing is that it's the AI our AI, who decides who earns the reputation or who doesn't have the reputation. We want the arbitrator, for example, to be someone specialized in this. If it's international commerce, someone that knows about international commerce. If it's about housing, someone that is, well, we will say about.
Well, like, where would you get the data to
the AI knows the data of the smart contract. Everything is enough. What do you mean?
Well, so like to determine if someone's good at, real estate law, that's not on the chain or anything, that's off chain. So like, how do you determine, for the AI to even get that knowledge?
Well, every agreement is done through a smart contract.
So in that situation, you can get somebody to span, 1 million contracts in real estate that are like valued, they're not worth anything, but we'll see like a spike in transactions on that one person.
But if the smart contract is done on our platform, it will be a smart contract that have already been reviewed by our AI. No? But does it answer the question or not?
Yeah, just don't like see how you would like construct the AI in the first place.
What do you mean bootstrap?
Like how do you train it to know that originally without any data?
Originally without any data. Well, he has the data of the. Okay, you mean okay, now I get it. Does the AI know if the guy is doing, if the arbitrator is doing well or not? You mean that's a good question. Well, I guess the AI, what it does is not that it decides if the arbitrator is working correctly. The arbitrator has the power to decide. It's been chosen by both parties before the agreement to choose this arbitrator. So they agree that in case of dispute, they will go and see and accept.
So how do you become an arbitrator in this system?
It's very open. You can choose. Right now, for example, I met this last summer a guy that is a notary in Formentera. And he's interested in becoming an arbitrator in Pangea, so it's completely open. In the future, I don't know how, but it will appear the option.
So like the problem is any of those like external, there's like for dozens of years it's systems where you have like some forum where you have moderators who gain reputation, and once they get enough reputation, then there's like a certain point where it becomes worthwhile for them to just like exit scam and take the funds and leave. So like how do you prevent that from happening?
Yeah, as I understand, you mean
So like right now, anyone can join. Someone starts getting some reputation.
Yeah.
Somebody puts like, $1 million worth of funds into his contract. And now there's enough incentive for this person to just, take the funds and go.
well, because the arbitrator cannot take the funds.
But they could make a deal with the person who's, doing the contract and say that, yes, he delivered when he really didn't deliver.
Yeah, I see what you mean. But then I guess that it's a very interesting question. So you mean it's a way to change the reputation system, Like someone has a really good reputation, someone makes for sure that he can do a big business deal with this arbitrator because he can be sure it's a guy with a very big reputation and he does some contact with the arbitrator. So very interesting right now. Right now I cannot imagine a solution for it, but I will ask for the how they want to solve the situations. Probably the thing is that, when the money is in an escrow, it will mean that it's frozen. You mean, for example, if you sell a house to someone and the house is just falling into pieces. It's a very huge house and the arbitrator says, yeah, it's okay, everything is fine.
Yeah. Meanwhile, on the back end, he's taking half of
Yeah, we will have to find a way also in a huge deal like this. Probably what we will do is that you will choose a lot of witnesses as well. Like to make it more like a police number one. Or I guess in a big deal like this, there will be witnesses with power to.
Or you could like randomize it, like a jury selection.
Well,
you could like randomize it like a jury selection.
Yeah, as well. Right now also all this thing is very like it's like trying to imagine and it's very theoretical, you know, because we don't have like the real problems, facing real problems with this. You know? We're just trying to figure out how it will be. You know? But I think that yeah, for big solution will be that for big business deals or whatever, there will be witnesses, and the ESCO will be more like this thing could be a solution. What do you think? ¿Alguna pregunta aquí en Canadá? ¿Alguna pregunta? ¿Alguien quiere hacer alguna pregunta? El cambio de fe
Representando que quiere Bitnation eventualmente básicamente reemplazar a los gobiernos.
completamente. Sí, de hecho.
Replace government at all at some point.
Sí. Yeah, our idea is to make the model of the national state completely obsolete, you know, like something that, I don't know, like, example would be like, I don't know, like an industry that makes the other one early before, something that looks very archaic and very slow and very expensive, something that's not efficient enough. No?
Yeah, like coming from feudalism.
Yeah. In fact, I don't really think that all this Boxing revolution is a new era for humanity in many ways. Yeah, basically, well, in Venezuela, I was talking a few days ago with a guy that's doing a virtual nation there, and it's in these places, especially where they have more need of this, you know, like as you know very well, being from Venezuela. So we really think that probably all these wave Pangea will start being used, especially by communities that really need it in their day-to-day life. Because we as Western country citizens, we are very like comfy in our position now. Yeah, we can play with it, we don't like the system, so we start living with a different jurisdiction, or people that live very nomad way, people that live in a very international way, that they don't really feel that they belong to a country or to an area. They can use Pangea as well. But I really think that in third world countries, we'll start being used like for real stuff, you know. In countries where they have money, well, as you know, Venezuela again, no? With this product that they have with the local currency, you know, that everybody is starting to use Bitcoin, Dash, and cryptos, no? So,
Are you seeing any adoption yet? Have you guys launched like beta or anything?
you mean?
Have you launched like an MVP or a beta product in these places?
Yeah, everything is there's the APIs. We have published the API already.
Is there any adoption anywhere you're seeing?
Well, I say the biggest community is in Brazil.
Like, what are they using this for?
On our last release, we enabled commerce between citizens in the chat. So right now, like for example in China, if they're using WeChat, I think they can send money to the people there. No? So right now in Pangea you can do it as well. You can do it by the moment. You can do it with XPAD and with Ethereum. But you can save money with your ID in the app without having to use your wallet directly. So I think it's pretty cool. And in the future, as I say, more coins will be added to the
And expats at ERC20?
Yes, exactly. Do you have any question?
Well, I was wondering if you don't want to use biometrics, how do you verify that a person is actually human?
Well, Johan Nagel is finding different ways. I'm very interested in IOTA as well, and IOTA is working in a way biometrics, using biometrics, but not biometrics related to the color of your skin or the color of your eyes. It's something that's palm-made. They scan the form of your veins, and apparently you can identify someone.
Yeah, but isn't that a form of biometrics?
Yeah, this one is biometric, but I think it's not dangerous in a way that what we don't want is to have a list of gypsies, for example, or black people in a blockchain, because that will lead us to a genocide in the future.
So the problem here with biometrics is just the characteristics that would identify them as a group. So, all right, would a fingerprint do that?
Yeah, but the thing that fingerproof, apparently for what I've read, it's not that secure fingerproof. It can be cheated. It doesn't. There's people that doesn't like. For example, Johan Magnet is working in a way which is very funny. It looks like this in the gym, that you have this thing for running, for walking, and it scans the way you walk.
Okay.
It's really interesting,
When design the standard in the world.
No, but you can choose that. Well, it's more like a proof of humanity than a proof of individuality. Yeah, we are sorting it out as well. But do you know any other ideas or?
No, I was just wondering if there were any that you were already using.
No, right now we are not using anyone because we have to choose which one we will work with. But it's a very important subject for us to have like a silver identification of the person, like the person can be identified, but without giving their real name, so they can interact with them. Also, as he said, we are trying to make the governance obsolete, and that sooner or later we accept that can bring us to have problems with the jurisdiction, with the jurisdiction of the national states. So we want to protect everybody, we don't want biometrics on our blockchain. We don't want our citizens to be identified even if the data is stored in VFS or whatever. We just want to make it pseudo-anonymous, which is called these pseudo-anonymous participants on the network. Algú té una pregunta en català, perquè no hi ha de sector català, no feu una pregunta.
Hi ha moltes i a vegades
Després ja no. Nosaltres tenim alguna pregunta? No? Algú que m'ha de dir la que preguntarà, no? Sí, és un mercat de les activitats.
Però, per exemple, tots els grans formats senyaliat, d'alguna manera, si és d'anitat, no hi ha control, això...
Formats com qui, per exemple? Qui? Apple. Bueno, sí que és una miqueta posada a la
ens ensenyant una aplicació que es venia de l'història.
bueno, la nostra aplicació, la Pangea, està a l'Apple Store.
Bueno, no sé, d'alguna manera sí que hi ha una descentralització, però al final...
Bueno, ara mateix pel mòbil sí que depenem d'ells, perquè és una app de mòbil, no Pangea, i depenem de la Play Store o de l'Apple Store. Però en breu, a principi del primer trimestre del 2019, hi haurà la versió de Pangea per ordenador. necessitat de la setmana de l'estona.
De totes maneres, no poden saber la història. Aquí s'ha de
Pot ser que
són en directe, saps igual.
ja, per usuaris...
Per
l'usuari del cafè dius que no es pot baixar la feina del Play Store i ja no. Sí, però hi ha un sistema més no tant per l'usuari. El web és molt accessible, no? Per això també la intel·ligència artificial, no? Que t'ajuda a escriure els smart contracts, no? Perquè hi ha de gent que no sap ni sabrà que és smart contract, que la gent pugui utilitzar, com deia Vitalik Buterin, que la gent pugui utilitzar aquesta tecnologia sense saber, que no sàpiga ni que l'estava utilitzant, perquè si no, si la gent no ho utilitzar, si no posa complicada la gent...
Igualment es fa raro que, per exemple, l'aplicació ja es pugui descarregar des de molt, a mi sembla que és una mica raro, així de
Bueno, perquè pensa que tota aquesta onada de la centralització que estem empujant, o sigui, la venda d'una centralització molt màxima, internet ara està molt centralitzat, no passarem d'una centralització màxima a una centralització absoluta en 2 dies. Ara hi ha un pas, no? Igual que la nostra formació a l'equip de Bitnation ara ja està molt centralitzat amb la figura de la fundadora, que estem descentralitzant. Tot aquest procés de la centralització és un procés totalment diferent. Una pregunta més?
Aquesta presentació la té, està a certa.
Tot el puc deixar, sí. I no puc passar més detallades, també el roadmap, també l'últim roadmap que tenim per les sessions. Sobre mans,
Ara m'expliquen el sense de cada vegada.
tu estàs al Bitnation chat, no?
Sí.
Igual que fotografia... Ja no està, potser sí que està...
Però com necessitem un live client, doncs m'he de mirar el SDK i què fa la satèl·lit. Per això no estic per tantes coses, perquè és una qüestió més de programació que
Vale, sí, un model però estan parlant amb ells o...
Sí, ens hem fet projecte ara, però hi ha d'haver projecte de sí, que també té paga, necessitem segur que les monedes que tenen la considerar Betahaus hem de fer un poc, perquè es pugui integrar de manera fàcil, com Monero i Cloud. I ara una mica estem veient com ho fem.
Sí, també estan molt liats. El divendres passat vam un update de l'app i hem trobat un bug i ara no es pot entrar a l'app i està una miqueta...
Sí, som tots una mica fora de lloc perquè estem dominats.
Sí, està bastant fent però bé, és aquesta. La intenció és que sigui el més obert possible. Es pugui treballar amb euros, amb Haskell, amb Tesos, amb allò, amb qui sigui, amb tothom. I a part es pugui integrar les configuracions que vulguis, es puguin crear allà mateix també. Fer-ho el més obert possible. Alguna pregunta més? Ho deixem ja... Complete? Complicats? No? Pues moltes gràcies per haver vingut. Perdó per l'horari, ja gràcies per l'espera i res, no tenim contacte, qualsevol cosa, bitnation.com i també us animo que us baixeu l'app de Pangea, que és un momentet.
Digue'm res. Digue'm res.
Yeah, if you can just download the app and you can see it by yourself, you guys that know very well how all these things work, you will see how it goes working and starts like being more the program of the app, because really in few months it has changed a lot, so you can see that in a year there will be a lot of functions and new functions. Really like the project.
Thank you.
Thanks.